I'm delighted to be here with Aaron Abbey ahead of an absolutely massive fight at Oktagon 48, fighting for the flyweight title. But first, I believe you've been doing some training with Wrexham star Ollie Palmer. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's been good. Obviously, I'm a Wrexham lad and a Wrexham fan, and Ollie's sponsoring me for the fight. He sponsored me before. We become friends, and it's great to have him support me on this journey. And he's come down, done a bit of pad work at the gym lately, and he was there just watching last night, which is great. You know, Wrexham's a really supportive and great community, and I'm proud to represent them.
How was he on the pads? We know, obviously, a great footballer, but could he become a fighter one day?
He'd never done any pads before, and I don't know if you've seen the video, but at the end he was sharp. I was really impressed, and I know Oktagon are doing like Paul Smith, Jake Quiggleton on the card. Maybe Ollie Palmer in the future. We'll be able to get him on a card as well.
I mean, that'd be absolutely amazing. I know you do a little bit of matchmaking with UKFC, so if you were to put your matchmaking hat on, who would you put him in the cage with?
Oh, we could give him Jake, couldn't we? Jake, but no, honestly, I feel like he could definitely transfer over into other sports, not just physically, but when I listen to him talk about the game and preparation and everything, he's got that mental application as well.
It's interesting, actually, because on the same day you did that, I was at a media day with Jack Cartwright and Katie Zellum, and he told me afterwards, I asked him about his footballing talent. It turns out he has absolutely none, self-proclaimed. He says he's quite useless. But you, in a complete juxtaposition, you were quite good at a youth level, weren't you?
Yeah, football was my first love, and that's what I played mostly growing up, and I was fortunate to play for professional clubs, represent my country. So yeah, that was how I started off, really.
And it's amazing considering this fantastic journey you've been on. Born with cystic fibrosis, I know this means an incredible amount to you. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and how much of a role your parents played into making you the sportsman you are now?
You know, my journey hasn't been one of a simple journey without ups and downs. I've had that like a lot of people do in life. You know, life's tough, but I've never wanted to play the victim mindset from a very young age, and I was fortunate that my parents brought me up in that way and always pushed me and treated me just like everyone else. You know, they were never easy on me. They just wanted me to live that normal lifestyle, and I think without them and how they brought me up, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very grateful for that, and the people around me have supported me along the way.
And the doctors, obviously, they weren't overly confident in how long you'd live for. You managed to overcome all those odds to become the fighter that you are now. Do you think those early years is what forged your bulletproof mindset?
Yeah, definitely. My early years played a massive part in where I am and where I've got to. I feel like, you know, I grew up watching like the Rocky and Karate Kid films and everything, but you know, along the way, I'm still learning now and still developing and going through things in that adult life that are still forging who I am and where I am today. So I never, you know, childhood for me, like people will see cystic fibrosis and things as a disadvantages, but I feel like it's taught me some things that I can use to my advantage as well.
You obviously became an incredible fighter, winning bouts in multiple high-level promotions. Then obviously you got the cancer diagnosis. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and how you managed to stay so optimistic and how you ultimately made it through that?
Like I said, life is tough. Would I say it was been easy? No. Has it been plain sailing? No. But I'd always find a way to keep going. I won't be broken. I'll never quit. It's just not in who I am as a person. So sometimes I need to find a bit of hope when I didn't think there was any, or set a goal to get me through a time I was going through, or just find a bit of light in the dark through everything I've been through. I'd just find a reason to keep going, and sometimes I'd just like use the analogy of, right, I'm going to put my gum shield in, walk forward and take everything life throws at me until I come out the other end. So I would just use things like that to get me through the situations I was going through, or maybe sometimes someone would give me a kick up the arse, like a friend that I needed, or you know, it's been a lot of ways to get me through and get me to where I am today, and I'm proud of what we've done to do that, and I feel like this chance I've got in front of me is now one that I can like repay people as well.
Absolutely. After everything you've been through, can you tell me a little bit about the first time you got back into the cage? You've beaten cancer and you're back on the right track. That must have meant an incredible amount to you.
That was my most proudest achievement in my life and in the sport, because it was on UK Fighting Championships, and I remember looking down over the balcony, and I was in the main event, and I could see people in the crowd who had wiped up my sick, carried me up the stairs when I needed help, pushed me to keep going, doctors, family, and I looked down and I was like, we've done it. And for me, I wasn't cured of the cancer until I got back competing. Like, even though I'd had the all clear in the hospital, I wanted to get back to where I was before the cancer, so I had to compete to do that. And that walk that night, that feeling of togetherness and look what we've done, that'll stick with me forever.
And in your post-fight interview, you spoke to Brian Lacey. I know he's somebody you have a great relationship with. You actually put a YouTube video up based on an article we did together, so that was fantastic to see. Can you tell me a little bit about what Brian means to you? Because I know you have this long storied history together, and the fact that he's now given you this massive platform to win a world title.
There's people you meet along your way in life just by, I don't want to say fluke, they just come across at the right time, and they end up becoming special people in your life. And Brian's one of them, you know. Like, he used to obviously work for UK Fighting Championship, and I think I started meeting him when I was obviously going through a tough time, and he just become one of those bits of hope that I spoke about earlier. And you know, he'd always make me laugh and make me feel better. But like I said, after that fight, people want to be interviewed by Joe Rogan, but for me it was Brian Lacey, and that's because of who he is as a person and what he's done for me. That's not a dig at Joe Rogan or anything like that. It's just for what Brian means to me, and like I'm grateful now that he's part of the Oktagon team, and he'll be get to commentate on my fight on the night, and that's what I mean. I don't really believe in fairy tales or anything, but I feel like this is my shot at one, if you get me, you know. And like, things are meant to be like, you work to make things happen, and it's madness that this is actually could happen. I've just got to go and do it now.
Absolutely. I tell you what, Brian will absolutely adore that Joe Rogan comparison. But on the night, you're taking on Elias Garcia, ex-UFC. Like anything in your life, it's not going to be easy. But this fantastic opportunity you've got in front of a packed-out house in the biggest arena in the entirety of Europe, fighting for a championship belt, this is the story. This is what you deserve, right?
Yeah, and as you alluded to now, how good Elias is, it wouldn't be an Aaron Aby story if the opponent wasn't good. It wouldn't be an Aaron Aby story if the odds weren't against me. This is my shot. This is my opportunity. And I'm going to go and give everything I've got to take it. And that's what I'm looking forward to do. These are the moments you work your whole life towards, and it's happening. I've just got to go and do it now.
And the gym you're in right now, Northwest Fight Academy, I mean, I'm a Prestonian lad. I believe this is the greatest city in the world. What's it been like training here with lads like Corey Fry and people like that?
It's great, you know. I have to give a lot of my success to Steve Nightingale. I've known him 10 years, and we were training partners back in the day, and obviously when he started coaching full time, even though it takes me an hour and a half to get here, and it's not as nice as Wrexham, I make the journey because it's worth it. And the guys we've got now in the gym and building and coming through, a credit to what he's built, and it's great to be a part of that. You know, we go in alone, but we don't. Everyone plays a part in getting you in there, and the people I share the mats with will play a part on the night, and that's what I mean. I'm being fortunate to be around great people, not just great fighters. great people.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for talking to me. It's deeply appreciated. Your story is nothing short of inspiring, and I can't wait to see how it ends in the Manchester Arena against Elias Garcia for the Oktagon Championship. But before I let you go, is there anything else that you would like to mention?
No, I obviously just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me on this journey from my early years all the way to now. I don't want to forget where my childhood and where I come from, and you know how I got involved in this sport to this day, and I'm grateful of everyone who's played a part in this, and just know it does mean a lot.